For those tuning in to see Duke Clemson men, that's on ACC Extra until this game is over. Soule can't get it to go. Big rebound again for Diamond Johnson, who's got a nose for the ball. That is her
Coliseum tonight as number 7 Duke comes to town. The second matchup of the season between the Blue Devils and the Tigers, with round 1 decided by a single basket inside Cameron Indoor. With Debbie Antonelli, Mike Cousins, we are so glad to have you with us. This has been a highly...
Duke on the road. I mean, playing physical, trying to get out in transition on the offensive glass. And Ian Shiflin for Clemson getting his first start of his collegiate career to add a little more size on the front line for Brad Brownell's defense and for their rebounding. I like it because he can stretch the floor as well. He's a confident young freshman.
And if you go back to the last time they played, late January, these rosters look different from when they played. At that time, Trevor Keels was in the midst of a string of 3 games that he was out. He's averaging 12 points a game for...
It's the 3rd game that he's missed, and he said he feels good after surgery, and we'll just see if he can come back or not and be back in time for Brooklyn when the Clemson Tigers and everyone else in the league goes to the ACC tournament.
10 points a game, what they lose from him, in addition to his leadership. For the senior from Monroe, North Carolina, Clemson at 12-11, 4-8 in the ACC, and Duke a very stout 19-4 and a 9-3 mark in conference play.
Clemson fans will remember Dante Grantham, who had an injury, not the same injury, but about the same time frame in the Sweet 16 season in 2018, and Brad Brownell's staff were able to make adjustments.
So out of the timeout, it's Clemson ball. Naz Bohannon has come into the game, giving P.J. Hall, the leading scorer for the Tigers, a spell. Collins backs it out with 10 on the shot clock.
They want Collins to drive it.
He does, and he's whistled for the offensive foul as Moore steps in front.
See, all blue jerseys had a foot in the paint as soon as Collins started that drive.
And out of that timeout, Duke brings Joey Baker off the bench for his first minutes today.
Look at Banchero posting up inside.
Certainly has the height advantage over Bohannon. Kicked it out, look for the refeed as Moore drives and fades. Keels goes up through traffic. John tries for a tip in, and a 4th try is good for Keels. The Blue Devils are dominating the glass.
This is Keels right here doing an excellent job. He didn't play in this matchup the first time. He brings size to the perimeter and his ability to get to the paint. It's a great individual effort by Keels to be able to get the and one against the Clemson defense.
A very short-lived breather there for Hall after Brad Brownell saw the proficient display of rebounding by Duke and realized his team needed a little bit more size. Banchero swings it to the corner. Another clean look right in front of the Clemson bench. And this time it's Moore with the triple.
You knew when Duke came in here, coming off that loss to Virginia, that they were going to be ready to play. And they have been ready every possession.
Hall immediately sees defenders converge. Still goes over John. No. He's a whole possession, and sometimes that's all you need.
Shooting nearly 49% from the floor, and that's a lot of mid-range jump shots. Such a tough matchup for everyone in the ACC.
He certainly has not been passive on the offensive end. Just 9 points against Virginia in the upset on Monday night. And in talking to us, Mike Krzyzewski may have been sending a message to his freshmen saying that he's simply got to be ready to shoot. referencing one of the greats he worked with USA Basketball, Kobe Bryant. Whenever he caught the ball, he said he was ready.
Shot ready. That means you're playing the game low to high. You're ready to catch the ball and make a decision. Coach K said he had 23 catches or touches in the Virginia game, and you got to be able to make a quick decision when you catch the ball, especially against Virginia's defense.
Hall straight away. No. Nick Honor is on the floor for the Tigers. He played a career-low 9 minutes the other day against North Carolina.
Duke just physically is bigger at every position on the floor, thicker and stronger.
John spinning, bothered by the length of Hall. Offensive board. Jones, well, really, he just collected a miss. And a beautiful finish in traffic there from Roach as he hits the deck.
What an athletic play by Roach. High off the glass, shielded off P.J. Hall, the shot blocker.
Half of Duke's offense has come on second chance points. But if Hemingway can shoot like that, 42% three-point shooter, he can make it a very different game.
He has to be ready to shoot. He's a career 42% three-point shooter.
Ten to shoot for Keels. John, that is a 2.
Not really a shot that Theo John typically takes. Even in a late shot clock, he had time for one more action.
Bohannon gets hit hard by John on the way up. First foul on the big man out of Minneapolis.
Watch this athletic play. Roach to the rim. High up.
So ingrained in culture, you can feel like it's always been that way. The Post-it note has been around as long as Coach K has been the head coach at Duke, going all the way back to 1980. And coming into this building for the final time as the head coach of the Blue Devils, he said he's not in a place where he wants to look back and remember anyone or any particular moment just yet. Wants to live in the present, and he said afterward I'll have time to look at the photos, but for now it's about today.
It's focus right here in the moment. He said he has the discipline to stay in the moment. He's not interested in reflecting on anything but the next. He wants to make sure the next play is what he's paying his attention on. Intensity today at shoot-around was really strong, and you expected it to be that way coming off a loss. And
they've got a busy week as well. Game here tonight after a game Monday. They visit Boston College on Saturday, and Coach K turns 75 on Sunday.
Clemson showing some zone. You know, Duke has missed 10 shots. They've offensive rebounded 5 of them for 9 second chance points. Half their points are on the offensive glass.
Roach speedily to the basket. That was tipped out into the hands of Banchero, and Roach gets another look from the corner. Dawes with a box out to keep Keels away from the long ball.
That's the thing. You got to make sure you find a body in that zone. Huge size advantage in this matchup right here with A.J. Griffin and Nick Honor.
Keels whistled for his first. He, Roach, Griffin, and John each have one. On the other side, Shefflin and Collins each with a foul for the Tigers. How's that for a disparity? Honor to inbound at 5'10", Banchero a foot taller guarding him. And there's the difference played out, except Honor has the lower center of gravity to be able to take it right back.
Yeah, I thought Duke pre-switched on that baseline out of bounds play, so they put bigs on little so they could switch lateral.
Honor, the hesitation and the decisiveness to the bucket.
Score, you can set that zone.
Another Duke miss on the run. It's Bohannon catching off the block. Collins deterred from the three by Banchero's length, but P.J. Hall is ready to answer the call. Timeout, Duke. It's a 4-point game.
The change by Brad Brown now to the zone got them 2 stops in a row. Forced Duke to call a timeout because Clemson was able to run out of their zone. 8-0 run for the Clemson Tigers to get this to a 2-possession game.
By just about everybody on the floor, but on that play against Paolo Banchero, he was not to be out-hustled.
Look at this change of pace right here. Puts him in a rocking chair and then high off the glass with his offhand.
Against North Carolina on Tuesday, he took 2 shots. That was the lowest field goal attempts of his career. Today is the 80th game he's played at the college level. Perhaps a little something for him to prove after limited minutes.
Well, remember, Kihei Clark is a smaller guard for Virginia, and Coach Krzyzewski told us today Kihei Clark is the best guard in the league in controlling the game. It's exactly what the point guard for Tony Bennett did in their win in Cameron.
Basket for Williams, who scored twice. Double-double for him against Clemson last month in Cameron. 10 points, 10 boards.
Got to be careful about over-penetrating.
Honor for 3.
Yeah, you get too deep against Mark Williams, and you got to be able to pull up into mid-range or get to a place where you can make a play off balance and reverse it.
There's a big bump between Hall and Williams coming down the floor. Brent Hampton, the official, didn't whistle it, but did tell him to cool it down. Moore with a pull-up gets 2.
Nice ball fake. Use the dribble to get into the rhythm of your jumper. And after the timeout, Duke responds with 2 baskets.
Can Hall go to work? But Clemson fans well know, others may not, that Hall has been battling foot inflammation, his left foot, dating all the way back to December, between 8 to 10 hours of treatment a day. And if you spotted him around campus, he'd be in a walking boot. To see him move like this, you'd never know. Foul is on Honor. That's his first, with Duke leading by 8.
Coach K calls timeout, and they throw it.
You see right there, number 30 collecting that dunk was John Shire, who's now on the Duke bench. Booker today was Greg Buckner on Tuesday. Some of the greats to have come through this program. A large round of applause for the Clemson legend. It's Duke 22, Clemson 14. Both teams in their last games, a single possession separated them from their opponent. A loss for both. Banchero off to Williams. It's the easiest bucket anybody's had tonight to make the lead 10, and Williams is up to 6 points.
2 sides, then down the middle. Really no answer for the size of Mark Williams on that play.
Very few teams around America have an answer for a player of his size. Honor, the floater, is the smallest guy on the floor. Moore pushes ahead. Williams was looking for the lob from Keels.
Banchero called for the ball to get switched. He wants the post up.
Keels puts it up. That's 3. Duke has Theo John waiting to come in next whistle. Shefflin.
Wide open on the skip. Banchero was 1 foot in the paint. Shefflin's got to make that shot.
Assuredly a bit of a surprise for the Blue Devils when they heard number 1 in white announced in the starting lineup tonight. The first start of his Tigers career.
Well, he defended Banchero very well on that play.
He's held his own under the basket.
I think Duke do a good job of getting back and get organized in their transition defense.
Shefflin had another opportunity. Hall misses it. Didn't get enough into his jump on the dunk try. And a three at the other end for A.J. Griffin.
What a swing. That's a 5-point swing. The 2 points that P.J. Hall didn't get, and you can see he looks a little fatigued. Yeah, Brad Brownell needs a timeout.
It's not as though the Tigers didn't have good looks. They just didn't convert, and they find themselves in a big but great women's college basketball doubleheader next Thursday night here on the ACC Network and the app. Pitt and Miami, 6 Eastern, our feature matchup. Number 18, Notre Dame, and number 11, Georgia Tech, as those two teams vie for their spot in the standings behind NC State and Louisville. Brad Brownell called the timeout. The last time that he and Clemson knocked off Duke, January 14th of 2020. The Blue Devils were number 3 in the country at that time, and that win vaulted him past Cliff Ellis, making him the winningest coach in the history of the program.
Well, he goes zone for 2 possessions, and they get it to a 2-possession game. Mike Krzyzewski calls timeout. Since then, Duke has gone on a 9-0 run. I think Clemson might have to get out of the zone next time down the floor. Try something else. Look at Duke pressing up and pushing the offense way out beyond the 3-point line. That's a contested 3. That's a tough shot.
What were the weak points of the zone?
The middle, because of the size advantage. Look at the size at every position that Duke has over Clemson. See, they're going to go into their man-to-man defense. I think it's a good change by Brad Brownell. You have to keep changing the rhythm of the game, and you have to do it with your defense. It might stimulate your offense.
That's the second foul on Keels with 4.5 to go before halftime. He's the game's first player to pick up 2 fouls, and Joey Baker quickly subs him out.
Wendell Moore getting some work on this, looks like his hamstring behind the Duke bench.
From their athletic trainer, Jose Fonseca.
Gotta love that Theragun.
Man, even us regular people,
yes,
it's good for everybody. Mike Cousins, Debbie Antonelli with you inside Little John Coliseum. Shefflin has been aggressive offensively, got hit on the elbow. He's making the most of his first start here for Clemson.
Well, it was a switch defensively, and so he had Roach on him, and he did the right thing. You post him up, you look to score, be aggressive. Remember, he's a former football player, so he's no problem with contact down on the block.
Played quarterback until his sophomore year and thought going into high school baseball would be his thing, but he was a scholarship athlete probably no matter what he picked. It's a college hoop triple header for you Saturday here on ACC Network and the app. Our feature game is our second game. And if you're a Duke fan, imagine you already knew this game was coming on Saturday. It's against Boston College, but if you didn't, it'd be great to have you there on the ACC Network and the app. 4:10 to go, first half.
Horn set. Oh. Too much hesitation that time by Bates Jones. He was wide open on the flare.
He gave him a couple of threes against Virginia on Monday. He surprisingly outscored A.J. Griffin, who had just 2 points. Bohannon got Banchero in the air and capitalized. Now that matchup at the other end. Banchero fades with a hand in his face. No. Shefflin's there for the rebound. Can the Tigers score in transition? Brad Brownell running all the way to the half-court line, telling them to get down the floor. That's kicked by Jones.
Bohannon doing a great job of pump faking and drawing Banchero off his feet.
Well, there's not just one national title winning head coach in the house with Coach K in the building. Dabo Swinney and his wife Kathleen in attendance today as well, as Clemson trails by 7 against Duke. The Tigers shooting just 33%.
Well, they cleaned up the rebounding issue because they have not given up an offensive rebound since that 18-14 timeout by Coach Krzyzewski.
Collins faded away like he got hit. Oh, that is dangerous play under the basket.
Almost had a bench clearing situation over here.
Many on the Duke bench to their feet. Mike Krzyzewski understandably livid on a play that's going to go to the monitor assuredly.
This could be upgraded to a flagrant 2. We definitely know it's going to be upgraded because it's an airborne shooter.
Now there's been a technical foul called by Roger Ayers against the Duke bench. As he tells them to stop, he's going to go to the monitor. So to look at this, a flagrant 2 foul, as we assume that's going to be in discussion here, Debbie,
yes,
is one that's ruled not only excessive, but also severe or extreme, with the verbs dangerous and punishing in there.
I think that goes without saying. This won't take long, and the technical will be assessed to the Duke bench because the staff was on the floor. But as soon as the play happened, the entire bench had to be held back by the Duke coaching staff. There's no question that's an ejection. That's an F2. That was highly dangerous. Thankfully, Wendell Moore got up and walked over to the Duke bench, and he is collecting his breath over here on the bench.
Debbie, let's watch Collins here as the ball gets taken away, because he flailed away from Moore when this ball was stripped.
So he got stripped. And that's not any place in the game. David Collins is coming over here to apologize.
And Brad Brownell is coming over.
Mike Krzyzewski giving him a hug.
And we're going to get an explanation as well. So as Roger Ayers tells us, a flagrant 2. It is excessive or unnecessary contact, as he told us, to an airborne player, and it goes along with a disqualification as well for David Collins, a starter, 11-point scorer a game for Clemson. So that's a significant blow to the hopes of the Tigers in a bid for an upset over the number 7 team in the country. And there's a technical foul, of course, assessed against the Duke bench as well. But their reaction, I think, is what anybody would do when they see a play like that, which is very dangerous.
Question. Uncalled for. I will say, because it happened right in front of us, because we're right next to the Duke bench, that the assistant coaches did hold the rest of the team back. It could have been worse.
And a sage move as well from the Duke staff to hold their players back, lest any more penalties be thrust on them.
Exactly what I'm talking about, Mike. That's exactly the way it looked on this side from our vantage point, which is right here next to the Duke bench. And Wendell Moore did shoot the free throws, and he looks like he's fine, so that's good.
The best news to come out of it is that. And this sends Banchero to the line. The foul is on Bohannon, number 1. Well, when we're done here, women's nothing but net crew will break down the night in the ACC. An overtime game before us. NC State and BC going all the way down to the wire. They'll be giving out awards as well. It's Saturday night. It's the men's nothing but net crew, all here on the ACC network. Duke is just 1 point shy of its largest lead of the evening. Two defenders converge on Hall, who's had a slow start. He's got just 4 points, shooting 2 of 7.
Both dunks. And he's missed some of those half hooks at the front of the rim on left and right hands. If you're going to beat the number 7 team in the country, you got to make those plays.
Here comes Griffin, subbing for Keels, who's got 2 fouls. This is a spot where Mark Williams can be at his best. They missed a 7-footer under the basket.
He just shed P.J. Hall. He's wide open.
Griffin, 15-footer, no. And that's a foul on Griffin, his second. The look on Mike Krzyzewski's face when the whistle blew said it all. If you would have hit Mark Williams, you would have had just 1 foul instead. You can read his lips there. He said he's wide open. Hunter's a 74% free throw shooter.
I just want to say it's pretty remarkable that both teams have kept their head now since that play, because this game could have gotten out of hand. I thought the officials did a really good job of managing the temperament of both benches.
You've got veteran officials, all who have worked the NCAA tournament. Roger Ayers has worked the Final Four. How many games can you remember, Debbie, when there has been a play with animus like that one, where the coaches have come to the middle and the player has embraced the opposing head coach?
I've never seen that before, where David Collins comes over to apologize and Mike Krzyzewski gives him a hug.
Williams. Right over the top.
Whoa. Wow. Like he means it.
8 for Williams. He and Moore tied for the game-high scoring total. Joey Baker in disbelief as he's called for his first foul. That'll be free throws for Clemson.
What a pass. This is what you call playing above the rim. My goodness.
He excels there. He led the team against Virginia with 16 points. 4 dunks in that game in 18 minutes. Foul trouble slowed him down a little bit, but he just finishes at the basket. He's shooting 70% from the field.
Clemson's got to really dig in here. They can probably going to get a chance for 3 possessions. If they can get 3 stops, they can get some momentum going into the half. There's 1.
Hunter on the break. Now quickly down the floor, it's Williams, who didn't have to go anywhere. Clemson lost him.
Great vision up the floor. Wendell Moore's eyes straight to the rim.
Sometimes the most beautiful basket is one where the ball never touches the floor. Hunter with the pull-up. And we're under a minute to go first half. Duke by 12. They've led by as many as 13 and had the advantage the entire half. Moore shot fakes Dawes out of the way.
It's not many possessions where the ball doesn't switch sides for Duke. That was one where the ball stayed on the same side.
Dawes, a great three-point shooter. He's only taken 1 and missed it. Hall from the corner. Got it!
P.J. Hall high-fiving a few fans on his way back up the floor.
Banchero with 2 seconds goes up and drops it in as a capper on the first half. 8 first-half points for Banchero. Mark Williams, the leader of them all, ever see is after a violent play like that, the opposing coach offering words that appear to be of forgiveness to Collins, who was disqualified from the game. So in the absence of Hunter Tyson, who is injured and may not return for the remainder of this year, Clemson, the underdog in this game, now down 2 starters in the second half, and they open with possession.
Well, since it's been a struggle to go toe-to-toe with Duke because of their size advantage and their ability to overpower in the paint, now you got to speed the game up if you're Clemson. You got to try to move the ball, try to get Duke in rotation, try to score quickly in transition before they get set.
Shot clock did not start on that possession for Duke, so Bill Covington Jr. blows the whistle and will get the timing squared away. It's the second matchup this season between Duke and Clemson, and when they played in late January, it was a 2-point win for Duke. You go back to the half of that game, it was tied 36-all, so it's a little bit more of an uphill climb here for Clemson on its home court.
I think Brad Brownell is so good at scheming on the defensive end, and his team is playing hard. They just got to continue to try to get some tips, deflections, try to see if you can make sure you don't give up any offensive rebounds and try to challenge Duke from the outside. Try to protect inside out with your defense.
And they've done a good job making life difficult for Banchero, who's 3 of 9. He comes off a season-low 9 points, averaging 17 on the year. And the foul there is called against Moore, his first.
So Hemingway with a start in the second half without Collins available, having been ejected in the first half. Thinner bench for Brad Brownell. That foul was on Wendell Moore. He was trying to lock and trail behind that stagger.
He's going to have to go everywhere that Hemingway goes. Great 3-point shooter, and this is a promising sign for the Tigers with P.J. Hall starting to hit his jumper.
So back-to-back buckets in space, away from the basket, not trying to pound inside against the best shot blocker in the ACC.
Open look from the corner, that's going to fall a lot of the time as Griffin hits the 3. His 48.6 mark from 3-point range, second best in the country.
And Chase Hunter's going to be issued a flop warning. That's the first one for Clemson. I would go right back to P.J. Hall.
He lines up the 3.
Boy, if he'd hit that, the house roof would have come off.
22 straight games with at least 10 for Hall. Make it 23 with his 11 points tonight. Shefflin stays in front of Banchero. Numerical advantage for the Tigers, a 5-on-4. Hall has a mismatch inside. Dawes tried the 3. Now it's Hemingway. And Shefflin going up strong with 2 hands is fouled.
Gonna get 2 free throws. 2 offensive rebounds for Clemson. You have got to get Duke spread out. You've got to get them in rotation. You've got to spread the floor. And this allows 2 offensive rebounds. Long rebound on the missed 3. Hemingway gets another opportunity, and then Shefflin at the rim.
He's got his family from outside of Atlanta here. Come to see him at every home game. The first start of his career, coming off a career best 12 points in 18 minutes on Tuesday against North Carolina. Before this year, he said he hadn't been a guy to come off the bench since his freshman year in high school. Moore drew 3 defenders, and Williams dunks over all of them.
Clemson's in drop coverage that time on their ball screen defense, and Moore just physically plows his way into the lane. What great vision by Wendell Moore.
Hall from the block. Drawing fouls at a rapid rate here in the second half.
But you know, that's only the first foul for Mark Williams. So when you're a shot blocker and you don't have any fouls to start the second half, you come aggressively on the defensive end. And he's been punishing at the rim tonight on the offensive end.
And a threat on the defensive end as well. One of 15 finalists for the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year award, the only one in the ACC. Have to wait a little while, though, to find out who wins. We won't know until the first week of April. So Williams, who hasn't missed a shot yet, 12 points, sits in favor of the burly Theo John. P.J. Hall's got 13 to pace the Tigers.
Expect a little full court pressure here. Duke has handled it well so far, but picking up man-to-man full court, trying to speed up the Blue Devils and get them out of rhythm. Trying a lot of different looks defensively by Brad Brownell in his defensive schemes.
That's what he's known for. Banchero looking to distribute. No angle to score there. Tried to create his own. Hunter leads the break. Down the floor and with authority. Timeout Duke.
Chase Hunter off the glass. No one stops the ball. Straight Duke's P.J. Hall, the 6'10 sophomore. Only had 3 baskets in the first half. He's got 2 here in the second because he's been able to create some separation and space from the 7'1" Mark Williams shot blocker for Duke. So P.J.'s feeling the hot hand. He's been in double digits 23 consecutive games, only 1 time last season for Clemson. We got a 2-possession game right now, Mike.
That is a foul on the way up as Keels had it tucked away. Foul is on Hall. First on the Clemson big man.
Same as what I said about Mark Williams in the first half. Without any fouls, you can be aggressive here in the second. P.J. Hall gets caught reaching in. See, that's one that he might need to have a little more discipline about. There are already 2 white jerseys between Keels and the basket.
Or to have one of his teammates step in and run to the official and say, hey, that foul was on me. Doesn't always work, but worth a shot. Point of clarification for what it's worth from earlier as well. We spoke with Roger Ayers, one of the officials. On the flagrant 2 foul where David Collins was ejected earlier, there were technical fouls issued to both benches which offset.
Right.
And then the free throws shot there by Moore were from the flagrant 2. So we had wondered about it and thought you might be as well. Dawes puts it up. Why not?
You got Theo John on you. You either take him to the bucket or you pull it back and stick a deep triple. It's a tough check for a post player out on the perimeter.
Banchero from under the basket. Muscled his way in against Shefflin.
It's so hard to believe this young man is just 19 years old. When you look at his size and his demeanor, he plays the leverage game, but he also has the athleticism to play above the rim.
Duke by 7. Their lead has been augmented to as many as 13 points. Clemson has trailed the entirety of the game.
You think toughness was discussed in the halftime locker room? Brad Brownell wanted goaltending, basket interference.
They get nothing. John was waiting to see if anybody would clear out. Keels had the basket cut.
What a cut. What a pass.
And a familiar finish on a play that looked similar to the one that Brady Manick used as North Carolina escaped here with a 2-point win on Tuesday. Dawes feeling good, and even better now that he's going to shoot 3 free throws and just got Theo John his 3rd foul. Duke up by 9, a second half with a lot of potential in Littlejohn. Theo John called for his 3rd foul, interrupting the landing for Dawes.
Second time that Theo John got caught in a switch. On the other side of the floor, Dawes hit a 3.
Another great women's basketball doubleheader next Thursday night on ACC Network and the app. Pitt and Miami in our feature game. Notre Dame and Georgia Tech, a top 20 matchup, 8 Eastern on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Now, if it seems a little unusual to have a men's basketball conference game in the ACC on a Thursday night, it is. Andy Fletterjohn in the league office, thank you for digging this one up. The last men's ACC conference game on a Thursday more than 3 years ago, January 24th of 2019, with this game rescheduled due to a COVID complication right at the end of December.
Clemson comes out with a zone off the made free throws. They go to some quarter court pressure, but they're trying to keep the ball out of the paint.
Second on P.J. Hall.
Watch Banchero operate on the top of the floor. Draws another foul on P.J. Hall.
Duke gets height and shooting ability with Williams, the 7-footer, and Griffin, second best 3-point field goal percentage in the country coming into the game.
Just 49% outside the arc. That was situational defense off made free throws. It was 3-quarter court pressure back into the zone. Let's see what they do next time down the floor.
Hemingway. It's Williams to the basket. He's tall enough to grab it over 10 feet.
Well, Mark Williams gets behind the Clemson defense. What a feed. Great vision up the floor.
A second straight phenomenal game for Williams. He's got 14 now. P.J. Hall has been camped out under the bucket, was calling for it, gets it, and can't finish. That's the second time this half where the shot clock has not started on a Duke possession. When you got a 7-footer, you put it pretty much anywhere in the neighborhood and you're in good shape.
Well, here's what Wendell Moore does so well. If he rebounds, his eyes immediately go to the rim. If he gets the outlet, he's always looking up the floor. He's a great distributor. You know, Coach K trusts him with the basketball, especially in a late situation. You got to know where A.J. Griffin is in this zone.
And of Wendell Moore, assistant coach Chris Carrawell told us today, with a relatively young team, that when times are tough, teammates look to Wendell Moore for words of inspiration. Dawes for 3. The Tigers in the second half are a bleak 1 of 6 from beyond the arc.
Wendell Moore inverting to the block out of their horn set against a smaller Nick Honor, who's listed at 5'10". I'm not sure he's 5'10". This is a great set. This is a smart recognition. Again, another high IQ play by Wendell Moore. He's fighting for position inside out of their horns. He inverts to the block to draw that foul on Honor.
Honor, the Former Fordham player got the horns there. They keep the paint relatively clear for Moore. His pull-up with a soft touch belongs to Shefflin. The Tigers are spacing the floor, but Duke is with them step for step, getting back in transition. Dawes was looking for Bohannon with Hall out of the game. Shefflin in his first start feeds. Oh, what a finish from Hunter, and to do it over Williams.
Old-fashioned give and go in the middle third. Beautifully executed by Clemson.
It's the crowd back into it in a 9-point game, and an immediate silencer by Keels. The Tigers have yet to sustain a run as the game has worn on to get them down to just a single basket away. Shot clock has dwindled to 7. It's Bohannon, short corner, yes.
That's his range. He steps into it. Nice job by Nick Honor to get a shot for Naz Bohannon.
Tigers doing everything they can without Hall on the floor. Hunter has been this year ranked all 14 polls this year, as high as #1 at the end of November after they beat Gonzaga. To hear the coaches around the league tell it, you wouldn't think that they have been the only team after week 1 to be in the top 25.
Well, I think the ACC is being way undersold. I think there are plenty of good teams in the league right now. According to Joey Buckets, Joey Lenardi, he's got 5 teams in the NCAA tournament, including Duke at a 2, Wake at a 7, Notre Dame at a 10, and then the last 4 in would be Miami and North Carolina.
Keels had almost a clear path to the basket, sure to frustrate Brad Brownell out of the timeout. Honor floats it. There have been a lot of possessions today because of the length and height of Duke, where it has been one shot and done for Clemson.
But Clemson has also done a better job of keeping Duke off the offensive glass.
Moore takes the screen. Good job by Hunter to stay with him. Honor slaps it away from Griffin. The Blue Devils have 5 to shoot. So 5 teams into the field as of today's games, according to Joe Lenardi, with Virginia Tech and Virginia receiving under consideration merit, and Notre Dame sitting in sole possession of first place after a little bit of a nail-biter last night against Louisville. Oh, beautiful shot.
With 1 on the shot clock. Now, Coach K was talking to us about his young team. That was a mature possession offensively with 5 on the shot clock when they started that out-of-bounds play.
14-point advantage is the largest of the night for Duke.
And see, there's no way that pass is getting there. There were 3 blue jerseys that could have stolen that.
Banchero, the lob. Williams couldn't corral it off his fingertips. Clemson down 60-46 with 10:52 to go. Shefflin is coming back in to spell Hunter. Dawes off the screen, had a couple feet of separation.
You're right, Mike. The length, the pace. This Clemson just can't get comfortable offensively, and you got to give a lot of credit to Duke's defense. They have dictated on that end of the floor.
It's Banchero for 3.
Banchero has not had the best shooting night.
Nope, 4 of 14.
That's what happens when you overpenetrate.
Honor facing the wrath of Mark Williams.
You want to get in there on balance, play off 2 feet, and kick it back out. All 5 blue jerseys in the paint. You got to spray the ball around a little bit.
And if you're joining us late, Clemson down 2 starters. Hunter Tyson, who has been injured, a broken clavicle, but also David Collins, one of their starters who averages 11 points a game, was ejected in the first half on a flagrant 2 foul committed against Wendell Moore on a breakaway layup attempt. So it's a shorthanded Clemson roster. They were at full strength last time these teams played in January, a 2-point Duke win, at which point Duke was shorthanded without Trevor Keels. Did Banchero get away with a travel?
No, he didn't. He made a really nice jump pass to the other side of the floor. I don't think he traveled. Yeah,
Brad Brownell.
good timeout for Clemson. They got to speed up their engine a little bit here.
Not happy, down 17, as this deficit has only ballooned in Duke's favor in the second half. Just a 30-second timeout. They're going to bring Hemingway back in. And a part of their inability to get back in it is shooting 1 of 6 from 3 in the second half, and on the game, shooting just 36% as a team.
See, Banchero, I don't think that was travel. I think he did a nice job of getting a nice jump pass. And that's what you call being shot ready. That's what Coach K was talking to us about this afternoon at Shoot Around. Wasn't it great to have Shoot Around with Duke, to have all the assistant coaches come over? They all spent some time with us. John Shire spent some time with us. Coach K certainly. I think we got a good 10 minutes out of Coach K this afternoon.
Everybody generous with their time. We talked to Chris Carrawell, Nolan Smith, Emil Jefferson. Everybody on staff came over to say hello. A.J. Griffin, freshman of the week in the ACC, with his performance Saturday against North Carolina. A game big enough to draw the governor, Roy Cooper, to the building, a longtime North Carolina fan. And then followed that up with a perplexing performance on Monday against Virginia, where he had just 2 points, shot 1 of 7, but when he's on, he is one of the best guards in the league.
You know, I thought it was interesting that Coach Krzyzewski's team played, according to Synergy, 23 possessions of zone in that Virginia game. And that is the most possessions of zone, according to Synergy, that they have played this season. Florida State, they played 17 possessions, and I thought it was really interesting that Virginia was able to use their size, Kihei Clark's quickness to be able to get in the paint. I thought it was a well-constructed effort by Tony Bennett's team. You catch Duke after an emotional game. You got a young team. Handling the success of that rivalry is something that you only learn if you go through it. And now they've been through it, and I'm sure they'll be able to handle it better the next time. It's a pretty cool environment in Chapel Hill for that rivalry. As our buddy Jay Billis says, it always delivers.
And they'll meet up again to close out the regular season. Duke right now projected as a #2 seed in the NCAA tournament. They've scored the last 8 points, just 3 on the shot clock, so Hall's got to fade away. Another one-shot-and-done possession.
Only 3 offensive rebounds in the game for Clemson tonight.
Shefflin late on the closeout, called for the hand check, his 3rd foul.
Well, Banchero hasn't shot the ball well, so I would not come out there with a long closeout. I'd come out to play him as a driver right now, because you know he's going to put the ball on the floor and he's capable of getting by. He's so good at 6'10", playing that leverage game, hips and shoulders by the defender.
It's Williams once more.
Screen assist, Banchero.
Mark Williams, 16 points. He has taken 8 shots and made them all. on a collision at the opposite end of the floor. Moore hits the deck. He's called for the foul, but Mark Williams, when he gets up over everybody, there's seemingly no stopping him.
It's just a great screen on an out-of-bounds play. You throw it up there where only Mark Williams can get it.
And the history of this series heavily tilted in favor of Duke, 113-32 all time, and they've won 8 out of the last 10. The last Clemson win over a number 3 Duke team a little bit more than 2 years ago in January of 2020. But today it's been all Duke.
The depth is another thing that Duke has. They can bring quality depth off the bench. They've got 2 graduate students that have experience. They come off the bench.
Bohannon leaves a disappointed Banchero behind. 7 points for the transfer from Youngstown State. As Duke does, Clemson with a couple of grad transfers. But the size disparity has been noticeable today.
It's a good play by P.J. Hall.
But can they convert? They had 2 Duke defenders trailing. And now Hall, with a much smaller Roach behind him, gets fouled on the way up. Roach picks up his second, and Hall earns 2 free throws. 65-48 Blue Devils on a rare Thursday night. On the women's side, the tournament committee releasing their preliminary rankings in the ACC, with NC State and Louisville as of today has 2 projected #1 seeds.
The Vice President and Director of Athletics at Duke, Nina King, is the chair of the D1 Women's Basketball Committee. And this is the second reveal that the NCAA D1 Tournament Committee put out. And to have 2 teams from the ACC, NC State and Louisville, is very impressive, both with Final Four aspirations and both capable of winning the national championship. And seeding will definitely play a role in that. There was an upset today. Michigan on that 2 line got upset by their rival Michigan State. That could change.
Saturday, a triple header, our featured game. These very same Duke Blue Devils, who will hope to go in having won 6 of their last 7 against Boston College. It's all here on the ACC network. And as we're talking women's hoops in the ACC as well, you get the Hero Award of the day. There was a 2 o'clock women's basketball game here in Littlejohn Coliseum. You were on the call and back here just a few hours later to call the men's game.
I've been telling our bosses I want to work every night, so I'm happy to do 2 every day. It's fun. It's a big win for Clemson women and Amanda Butler. NC State women and Wes Moore get a overtime win on the road at Boston College. That's a big win for NC State. Hey, it's heating up on the women's side. It's as deep as it's ever been in women's basketball in the ACC. As Trevor Keels goes to the free throw line.
Foul was on Hemingway. And we got the news today that there's going to be a special edition of College Game Day coming up as they go. Are they going to Columbia, South Carolina?
Yes, they are.
Well, that game moved to ABC.
Well, South Carolina women's basketball has led the nation in attendance. I think this might be the 7th or 8th year in a row. Dawn Staley has become a household name across the sports landscape, not just basketball.
You know what? I'm a fan of any coach who brings their dog to a press conference.
One of the all-time great players in the history of the ACC, Dawn Staley at Virginia. Now, Clemson's got to speed it up here because they got to get some stops and they got to get some possessions transitioning the other way. I'm so impressed with Duke off the bounce. They've been so aggressive in attacking the rim.
Trevor Keels with 15 second-half points. Hall with the turnaround. He's been a bright spot today.
That's a big-time move right there. He goes to the counter with contact. Moore with the drive off the rim, and P.J. Hall comes down to the other end. Nice move. He misses the N1 opportunity.
You know, it's not going Clemson's way today, but Brad Brownell is assuredly fortunate to have P.J. Hall as the face of his program. I don't think you'll meet a nicer student.
Nope.
And one who, he came out, he got the loudest cheer from the student section, turned to them and pumped them up because they were waiting outside hours and hours before this game started, before the gates opened.
He's a likable guy. He's a hard-working guy with a big motor. He loves being at Clemson. He's the #1 recruit out of the state of South Carolina. And he might be the most improved player in the ACC.
Upping his averages by 11 points and 4 rebounds to come into play today. 15 and 6 in 30 minutes a game. And he's primarily guarded Banchero today. You'll look at the final stats for Banchero, scoring total anyhow, as Keels has dropped in. Now, yet another bucket to make the lead 20, but Hall has made Banchero work for his offense today.
Well, there's no question about it. Banchero's had an off shooting night, but he's so important to facilitate their offense. So where he catches the ball and his willingness to make a play for someone else are really critical when you get into March. When the game slows down, you get into the quarter court, and transition games shrink as Keels hits that triple. It's been a well-balanced attack, and you look at the size of Duke and you watch the way they've been aggressive off the bounce all game. It's really hard to contain when they're the aggressor. They really came out and played well to start the first 5 minutes of this game.
And then if you do get beat off the dribble, you want to help. Well, there happens to be a guy with a 7'7" wingspan waiting to throw it down on your head on the other side.
Well, and then on the other end defensively, when you've got the shot blocking ability of Mark Williams, and he does such a good job of staying out of foul trouble, and he's becoming a better offensive threat on the other end. Back-to-back big games for him offensively. They're just so connected on this end of the floor as Duke.
Bohannon with a rare second chance opportunity draws the foul. Where does that connectivity come from? How do you create that?
I think it's building trust, guarding your player and knowing that you can get up and pressure. You got a shot blocker behind, or you've got good rotation and help side defense. But I think the one thing that Duke does a really good job of, though, Mike, is they don't overhelp. You know, they don't have anybody in the weak side with a foot in the paint. They do a really good job of guarding their own, and they're physical in their matchups defensively, especially on the glass.
There's a danger, though, to not overhelping, right?
There could be if it opens up the lane, but you know you got Mark Williams back there, so that's the way you roll the dice on that. It's not even rolling the dice for Duke. It's the way they're constructed. It's the way they're taught. It's how they're built, and they do a good job of communicating their actions on this end of the floor.
And even on top of all that praise, as we talked with Coach K this afternoon about their zone defense, he said that shouldn't have to be a life preserver for us. That should just be a good change of pace. So he's not entirely pleased with what they've done defensively. Banchero finds the bottom of the net from deep, his first on 4 tries tonight. 15 for Banchero, as Duke is up 75-53.
High hands on the catch, 3 choppy steps to close out. I mean, all such good fundamentals on this end of the floor. And they're talented, and they're long, and they're committed to getting stops.
Hearing the undertones of a "Let's Go Duke" chant, with a smattering of dark blue around the arena. Shefflin over the shoulder.
Good recognition by Dawes. Roach again caught on a post-up.
Banchero popping off of a couple of screens. Trevor Keels simply cannot be stopped in the second half.
Just all that misdirection, and Keels, if you have your hands down, he's ready to fire. What a terrific second half for Trevor Keels, who did not get to play in this matchup the first time.
They're a dangerous team with or without him. He missed 3 games. This is his 4th game back, and yet, in his absence, they won all 3. Mike Krzyzewski has risen to tell his team to wait, asking them to slow down as they spread to the corners of the floor. Keels fouled on the floor. So he's put in 21 in the second half. And more opportunity beckons for the Blue Devils on the verge of their 20th win of the campaign.
Points, he's 7 for 7 from the floor, 3 for 3 outside the line. He's been to the outside the three-point line. He's been to the free throw line twice. He's made all his free throws there. Double-double. What an incredible second half for Trevor Keels for Duke.
Well, it's hard to say perfect. Maybe he forgot to say thank you when somebody opened a door for him earlier today, but other than that, pretty close to perfect in this one.
Duke showing zone.
And for the first time, the forward Ben Middlebrooks is on the floor. The freshman, who averages about 4 minutes a game, seeing his first action. Bohannon for 3. He's got it. 78-60 inside 3 minutes to play.
That's just the 5th triple of the game for Clemson. Duke is shooting 50% from the floor overall, 45 outside the arc. And Clemson has struggled only 36% from the floor.
Just 10 to shoot for Joey Baker. There's Bates Jones. Debbie, what do you think the biggest difference is from game 1, a 2-point game, to this one that will be decided by double digits?
Well, I think the physicality in the paint for Duke has been a big difference. And not having Hunter Tyson certainly affects the space on the floor for Clemson. But Clemson just didn't make enough shots. And it's easy to think that that's just the only answer, but Duke just overpowered them in the paint. They started the game aggressive up the line defensively, and they punished Clemson inside.
Clemson normally a much better 3-point shooting team. We don't want to say perfect, but it's as close as you're going to get. 8 of 8 in the second half for Keels.
8 for 8 for Keels. Mark Williams, 8 for 8 from the floor. That's very efficient offense.
Tomorrow night and every Friday night at 9 Eastern, it's Bald Men on Campus. Jay Billis, LaFonso Ellis, Seth Greenberg will give you a preview of the ACC Saturday slate and have the latest news from around the conference. That's tomorrow and every Friday night, 9 Eastern, on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Keels putting his streak on the line. He has missed once in the second half now. An honor to the rim is blocked by Jones. A lowered shoulder and a missed layup opportunity by Middlebrooks. Duke uses the opportunity with 43 seconds left to get Jalen Blakeson.
Move right there by Roger Ayers, so that this horn could stop, so Coach K could get a sub in, and Brad Brownell the same thing, pretending there was a spot on the floor that was wet. No harm done by doing that, getting a couple of young guys a minute in the box score.
Nothing gets by Roger Ayers, not even a drop of sweat on the hardwood. So the benches have all but cleared here in the final minute, as Duke is going to improve to 20-4. They'll be 10-3 in ACC play, and Clemson will be at 500 overall, 12-12. and 4-9 in conference action. A disappointing outcome for the fans who were assembled here. The students who waited outside, lined up, some more than 5 hours to wait, but this looked every bit a top 10 team today for Duke.
I thought their defense set a tone. I thought their play at the rim set a tone. And Duke shares the ball so well. They played through Banchero and through Mark Williams. And their guards made shots. You know, you make shots, you score 81 points. Your defense holds to 64.
So Keels with 25. Williams for the second straight game with 16. So he put an assault on the rim. And Griffin with 12. Banchero will finish with 15 points on 5 of 15 shooting. Well, there's only one way to take the roof off a place this late in the game, and it's a walk-on bucket. Clemson doesn't get it. Duke emerges with the victory. 82-64 is the final, and Mike Krzyzewski's final visit to Little John Coliseum as the head coach of the Blue Devils.
Balanced